Welcome back, YouTube watchers. Part 2 of my trip to Walt Disney World. And in this second part, we're in Epcot Center, where they have a huge world showcase and of course this beauty right here, the future. Now, I just gotta make sure I make this quick because one, looks like storms are brewing. I got my umbrella in handy. And two, I don't know how much battery I have left. It's still in the blue, so we'll see what happens. Let's begin with the tour. Now let's just get started with the World Showcase, because they have like a lot of things that they put up from around the world. Various countries from various different livelihoods. Now, Epcot is still a big place to go to. I gotta admit, it has a bit of a large emphasis on their little world tour. But but it's surely understandable that whatever they do, it always has a lot of presentable stuff. It's gonna be a long walk from here on out, so let's just hope we don't have any trouble along the way. Okay, so the first place we're approaching is the Mexico exhibition. Now, Mexico being a vibrant little country. Over there they have a little restaurant for nachos, tacos, and the like. But at the mainstay, it's actually a Mexican pyramid. But within that Mexican pyramid is more shops, restaurants, and a unique little ride that gives you a tour of all of Mexico. But there is one problem I should address, and I've been on this ride before, is that they kind of changed the ride. I mean, the ride's still the same, but instead they switched up the animation a little bit, turning the tour into like somewhat of a kid-friendly atmosphere. Most likeliest is that the tour stars these three amigos from the old cartoon series. Here, I got the temple on huge showing. And here's the sign. Oops, sorry. There it is, the Grand Fiesta Tour, starring the three caballeros. You know the caballeros, the three Mexican birds. Well, two Mexican birds and one Donald Duck. But yeah, it seemed interesting switcher-upper. But I still kind of find that quite baffling as to why they switched that ride up a bit. Normally I would have enjoyed it the way it was. But whatever, it's their thing, it's their stick, so it's just whatever they want to do. I'm just hoping that it will fade away in time. Okay, so moving on ahead, we're about to enter another area here. Now we're entering the whole Viking territory here. It's right within the area. It is where they have an infamous ride that it too has a good presentation, called the Maelstrom. It's pretty much a boat ride. Gives you a tour of the history of Vikings and all the sports. But when I got there, I noticed the bridge was there was like a little boat that keeps up and then returns. Just as you can see, it appears to be in construction. I mean, it's still open to the public, but you don't see the boat anymore. Kind of ridiculous if you think about it. But whatever. It's all, I'm pretty sure they're making refurbishments here and there. Here's the Maelstrom entrance right there. Whatever. It's what they want to do. It's cool with me. Let's continue on to the next section of the World Showcase. And this section is a real good one. This is the China section. And it's all devoted to everything China. You can tell by the entrance of the gates that you're in this type of territory. Now, unlike the other two rides, the rest are pretty much restaurants and shops. A few showcases here and there. Looks like there's a show they're doing right down there. Can't tell what it is though. Whatever. Yeah, I see the show. Let's just get moving. I think it's called the Dual Dragon Acrobats. I saw a sign there, so obviously it's a different portion. Okay, we're now about to cross the bridge and enter, well, not basically a world section, this is just a little outpost to get your refreshments on. But it does have a little African vibe by the looks of things. It's kind of strange because in Animal Kingdom, which I'm gonna post up as the fourth and final port, they have a huge African section, so obvious that they are making everything unique. But let's continue on walking and see where we can go. Alright, give about the pause. I just need to get my cap inside the bag, because I can't hold two things at once. Alright, we're now approaching Germany. This is where they have their little German shops and restaurants, including their ever infamous Oktoberfest. As you can see, it's very Germanesque, very impressive. And down there they have their little Oktoberfest section. You can tell by the signs. The sign down there is a good example. Alright, let's go on ahead. Alright, now we're entering Venice, Italy. Well, not the actual Venice, Italy. It's another world showcase. But it has a very good replica of Venice in all its glory. Let's take a look. Now, I've got to say, the way they handled Epcot is somewhat phenomenal. Got details of all countries just right. See that tower up there? We have Italian foods, including the pizzas. Alrighty then, we're now fast approaching the other section, the United States of America. So I kind of find it weird why they want to put up a US showcase, but it is part of the world, so I guess it could make sense. Kind of brings me back to the old U.S. back in the 1700s, like the 1775 or something when the U.S. was born. Doesn't matter the looks of the things. Quite a unique feat, if I do say so myself. Alright, so we're already at the halfway point. So got enough battery power to get this camera going. Okay, now we're entering my favorite part. Of course, it's going to be my favorite because it has what I like. And you know what that is? Anime. That's right. We've entered the Japan section. Now, this is like some of the feudal Japan by the designs of it. It's not like Tokyo or any other future city. But there's a store that they sell actual anime merchandising, which I find quite unique. And here's like a little Japanese paper right there. Comment, this is a good favorite if you guys want to come visit Epcot and check this Japan place. But now we're gonna leave Japan and enter a new section, the Morocco section. Now then, Morocco, basically around the African area, by the looks of it. And it generally has a pleasant feel. Got some music going. And we got some good designs here. We got a huge tower up on the bank. also character meet and greets here, based on the countries. Like in this place in Morocco, you get to see Aladdin, Aladdin and Jasmine, which I find quite impressive. And now we're approaching what Fireshock Princess Elizabeth wanted to go to for a long time. Good old Gay Paris, France. Now, obviously, this is the France that Disney envisions. But it's also where you can see like Remy and Ratatouille. And you also have another character in Belle right here. Now this is everything. Now just like every other play section, they all have foods and shops straight from Paris or France, no matter which part of it is. Here you get to see a lot of interesting artwork. And they also have a lot of interesting details on painters and whatnot. Kind of cool. Let's get on across the bridge now. Right down there is our little world traveler section where people can exit and head to their respective hotels. That's ahead of Epcot. Of course, it's both the Yacht and Beach Club, Boardwalk, and the Swan Dolphin Mall. Well, it's not Swan Dolphin Mall, it's Swan Dolphin Hotel. But in those places they have arcades, except for the Swan, which I'll be posting up later on. And now we're entering good old England. Now, it's not basically London, but it does have an England vibe to it all. Wish I had like Big Ben or something around here, but guess we have to stick with what we have to stick with, huh? Right. Now this is pretty impressive. I mean, it's all English stuff. You have little fish and chips, you got a red telephone, you got taverns. Really cool. You got this area down here. Hang on, I haven't even got a chance of showing you the Eiffel Tower yet. Went a little ahead of myself. There's the somewhat of a little replica of the Eiffel Tower. Wish you could see it. I didn't even realize. Guess I was a little too focused on all the props. Anyways, let's move on ahead. So far, it looks pretty good. You know, in Epcot you can also get liquor, actual liquor. Like in Mexico, I got a guacamole margarita, which is pretty tasty. Basically, it's all frozen, but I can't complain. And then today I had a bit of an orange slushy in France that has wine. All of which are delicioso. Or si magnifique. Delicioso and si magnifique. Two words I wouldn't want to put in the two syllables. And now we're about to enter the last part of the showcase. It's Canada. Yeah, that's a little bit of a awkward with a side of why. But Canada is part of the showcase, and I guess some people have a tendency to think they're straight. Too bad it's missing Mounties to make it perfect. Perhaps add that Mountie from the WWE's past. I'm the Mountie. I'm handsome and strong. I'm the Mountie, and I belong. Mountie always catches man. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't have said that. Oh, geez. Sorry, theme song was a little catchy. Didn't really mean to speak this out. So I guess we're pretty much done here with the World Showcase. Here's a good aerial view of the entire place. But we haven't gone to the last part, which is the Futureland. This is where they have all of the unique rides, both for young and old patrons, and got a quite uniqueness to it all. So let's just get on ahead and get to these areas quickly. I've already took 21 minutes in total to get all this out of the way, and I don't want to waste any more. Let's find a way to get through. There we go. Now in the future area, it's where they show off like some of the unique rides and all that. Some great stuff right here. Like what's going to be like for the future. And they have varieties such for different types of environments. Ocean, land, air. They have vehicles. They have pretty much anything around. I could see in here that they were doing a little construction, but I guess that makes sense. Even if they have construction, they don't have much of a good thing. Okay, let's get started on this end, on the west end, and then we'll move on to the east. Up ahead, you might notice a little two spikes sticking up. That's our Land of Imagination ride. In the past, I used to have it as a sort of a childish type field. It's still childish, but more of a scientific endeavor, like to study imaginations, starring Figment the Dragon. Huh? All right, we got a good view, good angle now. So basically, they have both ride and a movie. And you know what that movie is? Captain EO. Now, I feel as though that seems a little offbeat. I've seen the movie in Disneyland Paris about in 2011, and judging by the looks of things, I say that they still kept on to that movie since. It's been a bit of a shocker to me because, well, let's be brutally honest. Captain EO is a good movie. The least they would have done is like have a bit of a limited engagement for the past couple of months until they remove it and move on to another new movie. Perhaps maybe bring back Honey, I Shrunk the Audience, because that was like an original movie for the imagination set, not only here in Epcot, but both in Disneyland and in Disneyland Paris. Oh well, I'm pretty sure they'll change it up some other time. We'll see what happens. You know what's sad about this place? That they always have an above ground area where they have a little rainbow tunnel back in the day. But when they started to remodel the whole place, they kind of removed the rainbow tunnel just to make it a little more modern, at least modern 10 years ago. But I suppose I'll try to bring it back one way or the other. Let's continue to move on ahead. Alright, we're now approaching another place that has actually a total of 2 rides. This area is called the land.
Oh, really?
It's basically discussing about the land we live in, and they have a little ride there that shows you they're doing like actual gardening. But that's pretty much not all. Within this area, they also have another ride called Soarin', like Soarin' in Disneyland's California Adventures. Only this time, they have it here in Epcot. Yet it's still the same thing in Cali. I find that kind of odd, but the other day I have to do a Cali version here in Epcot, being that we're in Orlando. But I guess they have their reasons. I'm gonna go ahead and walk on ahead right here, just so I can continue with the tour. But I do want to show you this before we move on. All the way down there is their underwater sea exploration starring Finding Nemo and his friends. You know the Finding Nemo movie, right? Well, basically that's just about it. It's actually an underwater area showing the aquarium, and they show those scenes of the Finding Nemo characters. Certainly quite a impressive field, but let's be honest and say that that's mostly intended for children. But hey, if you want to go in there, be my guest. Nothing I can't be done. Now in both buildings, left and right, they have a little thing called interventions, which is basically what are those stands showing off different areas. Whether you want to grow up to be a banker, a firefighter, an inventor, they have a little thing called Habit Heroes where you can stop people breaking in the habits. Kind of a little weird, but I guess kids will want to enjoy themselves, and maybe it's a good idea to get out into the shade as much as possible. In the building, you also have other areas too. They have like a character spot for characters, Disney characters. They got a little soda area. We can try out different sodas from across the globe. I myself took like a Japan soda, which is quite delicious when you put it up. I also have a little bit of Starbucks coffee. It's cool. You know, as far as I'm concerned, if you want to go on a new ride first before it opens, my guess is you better start taking Soarin', because when I got there on today, it lasted 70 minutes in total. That feels a little weird if you ask me, but I suppose they have their reasons. There's a little fountain show right down there. And up above is that infamous spaceship Earth, the main focal point of Epcot Center. Sorry if it's a little blocked off, but basically it's just giving you a tour of the advancements humankind made in the past and focusing on the future. A little tidbit: once you are on that ride, you have to take a picture looking up, because I'm going to show you a couple of a little video on the center. Believe me when I say it, it's going to be trying myself. My look didn't work out the way it should. Yeah, it's a little wrong on some occasion, but what are you gonna do? Alright, now we're heading to the east side of Epcot Center, where they have two most aggressive rides that you might enjoy. Okay, here we are. Now, there are 3 different rides that you might want to go on. The first one down here is Fast Track, sponsored by Chevrolet. Now, Fast Track is a really popular ride. I went on there 10 years ago. And it gives you a big velocity boost at the end. But then that was 10 years ago when it was pretty cool. Now they remodeled it into a brand new futuristic area. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know. When I went on this ride, it almost feels like you came from the Tron Legacy movie, judging by the little light shows here and there. It feels, but there are some good advancements here. You can actually design your own car. I have my own design right there. It's in and I put a little commercial about it. It's pretty cool, and I'll post it up later. But we'll see what happens. I'm pretty sure this ride will. I wish it was better than when it was basically a test track, like a crash test dummy section, and not something straight out of Tron. But what are you gonna do? Down there is the Universe of Energy, starring Ellen. Now, Ellen is pretty much the talk show host. You know her, the dancer that likes to prance about. And I'm pretty sure it's also starring Bill Nye, the Science Guy, judging by, because when I was here 10 years ago. Pretty sure they're still doing it till this day. But it's basically a show, so that's right, because once you start the movie, you're into a you're inside of a prehistoric era with dinosaurs and the like. Kind of like a ride that's gonna be that's in Animal Kingdom, which I'll show you later on in the future. But now that we're done with that, I'm gonna show you guys the main attraction. You see that here? That is Mission in Space. Now this is the most intense ride in the Walt Disney World Park, let alone all parks together. It's basically a flight simulator that takes you off into Mars. Now believe me when I say it, the ride gets intense no matter what you do. Because in the simulator you spin around in a hellacious circle, and it's gonna become quite a dangerous feat. But now it looks like they made a few modifications. See, there are 2 sections, orange and green. Orange is pretty much the intense section, which it spins you around. But green is actually a less intense because it doesn't do the spinning. It just sort of like Star Tours, where it just bobs up and down. Which I've got to say is a big improvement since this ride's going to be a bit of a nauseating experience, if not give people heart attacks. So, yeah, the strongest recommendation here in Epcot today. Pretty fun for the kids, if they're into that type of thing. But it's pretty fun for adults too, like myself. So, that pretty much wraps it up with Epcot. Let me give you a spaceship tour, right? Let me show you spaceship again, one more time. Now, as far as I'm concerned, they have a little illuminating night show they have on. I'm gonna post it up later on YouTube, but I gotta say, it was quite fascinating what they put together. So that's it for the second part of Walt Disney World. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for part 3, where I'm gonna show you Hollywood Studios.